Am I the a-hole for refusing to end being no contact with my sister to help her while she's homeless? I, 27 female, was dating Rob, 28 male, for over 5 years, but ended our relationship last year when I found out he was sleeping with my sister Izzy, 25 female. I was pregnant at the time and quickly learned Izzy was too, so I ended my pregnancy. Izzy already knew because Rob had told her, and even though I told her I wanted nothing to do with her and had blocked her everywhere, or so I thought, I missed one account. She told me we needed to stay in touch because our kids would be siblings. When I didn't reply, Rob told me he still wanted to be a dad, and I told him there was no baby anymore, and he needed to leave me alone. Izzy told our family what had happened and what I did, and she was absolutely vile about me. My brother Ryan, 22 male, showed me screenshots, and the stuff Izzy was saying was infuriating, but also just further cemented the whole "I'm done with you forever" part. Izzy tried to get in touch with me once after all of that. She would have been 8 months pregnant, but I blocked her new account and carried on with my life. She was living with Rob at that time. They've broken up since then, and Izzy had the baby. Now she's homeless with the baby. Rob still sees the baby, I think. She was in a rental for a while, then a shelter, and then I guess another shelter where she didn't feel safe. She asked our parents for help, and they sent her money and tried to help her find a place, but they couldn't. This is where they tried to bring me in, because they wanted me to step in and help her. We don't live in the same state as our parents, and our parents say she's afraid to leave because of custody issues with the baby. I told them I am forever no contact with Izzy, and that she no longer has a sister to help her. They told me that in a real emergency, we need to put aside people's bad actions and help. I suggested they keep sending her money to get her on her feet and help her themselves. They visited here so many times, they almost know the town better than I do, even after 9 years of living here. Ryan agreed with me and told our parents they should be the ones helping Izzy, not me. They tried to find Rob and make him do something, but he only wants to help the baby. My parents told me I need to help or else who knows what will happen. I refused, and then I had to block my parents because they were doing their best to make me feel like a monster for refusing to help. Even when I pointed out she called me that, and worse, over my prior pregnancy. Ryan told me they're still going crazy and are in the process of trying to move Izzy in with them. But they still believe I should have put the issue aside to help. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. She burned all her bridges with you. After you had broken up with Rob, Izzy should have taken the victory and been a good winner. Instead, she was vile toward you. It never ends well helping people like that out. They will make your life a living hell if you let them back in, because you can never do enough to help them. Just as your parents sent money, she still couldn't dig herself out of the situation she was in. While you can feel bad about her kiddo, they will always find some excuse why you need to help out. They will be on the streets, they will go to jail, they will starve, they won't have shoes for school, etc. Stay out of their drama and their compulsive lies. She lost touch with reality through all of this. The way she acted like it was a good thing that we would have given birth to siblings? That still feels so gross to me. And she thinks I'm a monster for my choices. So why would she want to have her baby around one anyway? Not the a-hole. This is a literal FAFO situation. Exactly. She's not the villain here. She protected herself after being betrayed in the worst way. Actions have consequences, and Izzy made her choices. It's not on her to clean up the mess just because it got uncomfortable. Not the a-hole. She betrayed you in the worst way, trashed you after, and now expects your help? No one is entitled to access someone they deeply hurt, just because they're in a tough spot. It's sad she's struggling, but you owe her nothing. Boundaries exist for a reason. The things she said to me are in black and white, and with the screenshots will never go away, as much as Izzy and my parents might like them to. I'd just reply with her screenshots every time her name is brought up. Every single time. I like this plan. Next story. Am I the a-hole for dating my ex-girlfriend's sister after she cheated on me? I, 28 male, was with my ex-girlfriend Lena, 27 female, for about 3 years. We had what I thought was a solid relationship, lived together, talked about marriage, the whole deal. Around 6 months ago, I found out she was cheating on me with a coworker. I was devastated. She didn't even try to deny it. Said she felt stuck and needed something exciting. Cool. Obviously, we broke up. I moved out, went no contact, tried to move on. Her family was actually really supportive of me, especially her younger sister Kayla, 25 female, who I always got along with. She reached out to check in on me a few times, and over the next couple of months, we started talking more, at first just as friends. But honestly, we clicked. She was easy to talk to, funny, kind, and she saw how hurt I was. Eventually, it turned into more. We both fought it at first because, yeah, it's complicated. But after a couple of months, we decided to give it a real shot. We've been officially dating for 3 months now, and it's been amazing. Here's where the drama starts. Lena found out last week. She went ballistic, called me a disgusting traitor, said I'm ruining their family, and told Kayla she's dead to her. Some of her friends have even messaged me saying it's beyond disrespectful and that I'm a snake. Now, from my perspective, I didn't cheat. She did. She ended the relationship. I moved on, just not in the way she expected, I guess. Kayla and I were both adults about it, and we tried to be respectful. Not the a-hole. Out of curiosity, what does her family think of you dating the sister now? They're okay with it. They think it's a little weird, but they accept us. Bold of her to call you the disrespectful traitor. Supporting a cheater. What do you expect? His ex doesn't like it to be reminded every day of her cheating when he shows up. You nailed it squarely on the head. She sees him and her sister happy, and forevermore she's going to think that could have been me. So where's the coworker now, Mr. Excitement? Did he have enough of her BS, or was she secretly hoping OP would be waiting for her? But honestly, we clicked. Yes, because she's very similar to the girlfriend whose company you enjoyed, up until the point you found out she was cheating. Siblings, 50% shared genetics, shared upbringing, are very likely to behave similarly to each other. Not the a-hole, but still almost certainly making a mistake. I remember looking at my sister's second husband and wondering how they ended up married. He was a great guy, and she was not so great. She ended up cheating on him. She was with our cousin, defending her cheating by ranting about what a terrible husband he was. The issue she specifically named? He wanted to stay home and do home repairs instead of going out to the bars every night. The horror. I often referred to her as my chronologically older sister. We share our love of animals and just about nothing else. My one marriage has lasted longer than all 4 of hers combined. So just because OP's ex is a cheating C-word doesn't mean her younger sister is. Next story. Am I the a-hole for publicly rejecting my boyfriend's proposal? My boyfriend, Tom, and I are both 26 and have been together for 1.5 years. My best friend Emily got married just over a week ago. Emily and I have been friends since we were 5 and in preschool. I was her maid of honor and my boyfriend was invited. He's friendly with Emily's husband, not so much with Emily, but they get along fine. The ceremony was perfect, and the reception was going absolutely great. About halfway through the reception, my boyfriend and I had obviously had a few drinks. We were dancing and singing with Emily, her husband, and others, when my boyfriend got down on one knee, pulled out what looked like a ring box, and started to say my full name in a serious voice. Obviously, my heart absolutely dropped. Emily's face dropped, and literally everyone was looking over at us. I laughed, pulled him up, and carried on dancing. He looked confused, but put the box away. Emily looked like she was about to cry. And when I say I have never been more embarrassed, I mean I have never been so freaking embarrassed in my life. Emily's whole family saw. Some of my family were there and saw, and all of our friends saw. If we disregard how completely tacky it is to propose at someone else's wedding and steal their day, it was so obvious that he hadn't even asked permission from the bride or groom beforehand. After about 5 minutes of awkward dancing, Tom took me outside and basically asked, "What the heck was that?" I went off at him for the reasons above, but he just doesn't seem to comprehend why it's wrong to propose at someone else's wedding. Why the heck would you gate crash someone else's party? Why steal someone else's special day? Why steal their thunder? We hadn't even discussed marriage. He took a taxi to his parents' place after we argued for about 15 to 20 minutes, and I went home when the reception ended. Obviously, I apologized profusely to Emily. She is understandably upset and has asked for space, which I'm obviously devastated about. I feel like I lost my best friend and boyfriend in one night, and neither of them has really spoken to me much in the past week. Tom is saying I completely humiliated him. Am I the a-hole here? I feel like I couldn't have done much differently in the moment, but I've now lost the two most important people in my life due to my decisions. Any advice is so much appreciated right now. Thank you. Now for the top comments. If he's not emotionally developed enough to understand how rude it is to propose at someone else's wedding, he's not the one for you. I'm so sorry he embarrassed you like that. Not the a-hole. If he's the sort to propose without even discussing marriage first, he's not the one for anyone. OP, you are innocent in this, and tried to handle it the best you could. Not the a-hole. Best friend should come around once emotions have calmed down and realizes you don't support boyfriend's actions. I think you and boyfriend are over though. Not the a-hole for rejecting the proposal. I hope so. I feel like I'm missing a limb without her. I've not really attempted to contact Tom, like I've not gone out of my way to beg for forgiveness, but I have messaged to check in on him every now and again, as I get it would have been embarrassing for him too. But this is the kind of thing I'd vent to Emily about, but she's trying to enjoy her honeymoon and hasn't responded to any of my messages since Wednesday. She's like my sister, so I really hope we can recover from this. Not the a-hole. Honey, you didn't make the decisions. Your hopefully now ex made the decision, and he's proven that he wants to be the center of attention. If you want any chance of salvaging your friendship with Emily, you need to dump Tom and have him gone. As for Emily, write her a message along the lines of, Tom and I are done. I had no idea he was going to do something so idiotically stupid, and I'm sorry it is a tarnish on your day. I love you, but after this message, I will wait for you to message me. Take as much time as you need, and then stick by that. Let her come back to you. You cannot force her forgiveness even though you were not and are not to blame. She will see that eventually. It might take time. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not apologizing for my part in my dad missing the birth of my half-brother? When I, 17 male, was 9, my mom died from cancer. 6 months after she died, my dad met Laura, and they moved in together and got married 7 months later. My dad forgot about me in all of this. Before Laura, he was depressed all the time and almost never left the couch. Then once he got out there and met her, he focused on marrying her super fast. It made me resentful because I felt like he didn't care about me, just himself. It took him and Laura telling me she was pregnant and me storming out of the house when I was 11 for him to start questioning things. He followed me all the way to my uncle's house and asked me why I stormed off and wasn't excited. I ranted at him and took out all my frustration on him during the walk back to the house. He promised he'd do better, but then his focus was on Laura and the new baby. Laura was about ready to give birth when he told me he hated me pulling away and not being excited and said he'd do anything to fix our relationship. So I told him he needed to give me time where he didn't talk about Laura or the baby or cancel because of one of them. I said he needed to prove he meant what he said. I told him one time wasn't enough either. Our first 2 days weren't great, and he answered several calls from Laura. The third time, I told him it was his last chance. He ignored a couple of calls before reading a text from her saying she had gone into labor. He asked if his third chance would be up if he went to the hospital, and I said yes. So he stayed for a while, but then he said I'd need to forgive him at some point, and he left me with my grandparents and uncle and went to the hospital. But Laura had already given birth by then. Laura hated me for it. I didn't get over it like Dad expected me to, and I saw that our relationship would never be the same, and that he wasn't the same person he was before Mom died. I know losing someone you love does that. I changed when Mom got sick and when she died too. But my dad turned into someone so different. He stopped reading the room and just acted so naive, or even dumb, like when all he would talk about was Laura and the baby. Even when I never engaged, he still wouldn't ask if I was okay. And after missing the birth and going against what we talked about, that if he bailed on me again, I wouldn't forgive him, he acted like everything was fine. He kept trying to make me hold the baby, asking me why I wasn't excited, and talking about the baby, but never addressed the fact that I had said if he left, I wouldn't forgive him. And he left early anyway. He also acted like he had no idea why Laura was so angry at me, and why she refused to interact with me after that. He'd say we were a family and that I was the best big brother. He told her he was the happiest he had ever been, and had never loved anyone more than her or my half-brother. I was standing right there when he said it, and when I stormed off, he played dumb about why that would bother me. I distanced myself more, while Laura wanted me around even less. Then at the end of last year, she told Dad to send me to live somewhere else, and Dad decided we all needed therapy. We started in March, and only Dad talked for months. The therapist would ask me and Laura questions, but we didn't answer. She broke first, and a month ago, she talked about her issues and how angry she was that I had made Dad choose between saving his relationship with me and being there for her and my half-brother when he was born. She said at some point she had hoped and expected me to be remorseful, but I never was. And I was the reason Dad missed the birth. The therapist asked why she'd blame me instead of Dad, and she said because I manipulated Dad to ignore them, because I was hurt that he'd moved on. It took me a couple more weeks to say anything, but when the therapist asked me if I would ever apologize for what happened, I said no. And when she asked why, I said because I didn't feel bad about it. I said that day just showed me that nothing was going to change, and Dad wasn't the parent I knew before Mom died, and that I didn't feel bad that he missed the birth. He was the one who decided when we spent time together. I was just the one who said he couldn't cancel on me a bunch because he was always acting like Laura and the baby were the only two who mattered. Laura told me when I was 11 that I should have known babies need more time, and that becoming a parent is exciting, and that Dad needed to be there more than he needed to fix things with me. When I refused to apologize, she said she did not want me living with her or her kids, because she doesn't want them becoming like me or picking up my hatred for her and Dad and my indifference to them. She said I'm almost an adult and should feel guilty and apologize, but clearly I'm without a conscience. My dad sat through all of those discussions over 2 weeks and still acted naive and dumb. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole kid, but is there a chance to live with your maternal grandparents to get out of that toxic household? Your dad is a prick hoping that sticking his fingers in his ears and screaming la 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 will somehow magically fix the dumpster fire of a marriage. I don't know about right now, but maybe since Laura wants me gone, and if I say I want to go, it might work. My grandparents always said I could stay with them if I needed to, or live with them. Your dad messed up and doesn't know how to fix it. Newsflash, he can't. You were a tiny a-hole for the whole day of the birth thing, but you were also a child feeling alone. And let's be honest, neglected. Laura needs to accept that you were a child too. I get she's angry, but holding on to it is only hurting everything. Don't give your dad an ultimatum, but do make it clear that if he goes along with her plan, then there is zero chance of fixing the issue. Make Laura aware that had she not been so overbearing the first 2 times, you wouldn't have reacted the way you did. She needs to take equal blame with both you and your dad. There's already zero chance of fixing the issue. When Dad went right back to acting all dumb, I decided there was no chance. It's why I'm now totally distant and don't try to get him to repair things. I don't want to work on anything with them.